Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have 3 stories for you from the ProRevenge subreddit. Before we start, thank you for sticking with me. We're back at it again. I took a good portion of November off because I was sick, and you're gonna hear that in 2 of the stories out of today's video. I was pretty stuffed up, but then when you get to the 3rd story, I'm nice and clear again like I am now. So hopefully that's better for you guys, and we'll be right back on track through the whole month of December and beyond. Alright, without further ado, let's get into today's stories. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from the Tubi. I left behind a deadman switch in the company workflow when I sensed I was about to be bullied into quitting. First of all, the story is a bit older, but I will keep stuff rather ambiguous at times just for my own safety. I don't know how much my company can find out. I hope I can put it into words so everyone understands, especially as English is not my first language. So let's get started. I started working in logistics at a company that builds things. That was just as COVID was starting actually. When I started, we were 5 people in the team, but one of the guys quit soon after. This is important because it was a very good insight into how my department operates when they don't need or want a certain someone around. They will not outright fire you, since then they have to pay you a severance, but instead, they will bully you into quitting. I saw pretty much the whole package, excluding them from meetings and important events, putting them down in public, lecturing them, never noticing good work done, but always making sure everyone knows about work that is poorly done, drowning someone in work, and then berating them when they inevitably can't keep up. It was outright childish at times. It didn't register at the time, but it was a really valuable lesson for later. I was put in charge of managing our overseas suppliers, among other things. About half of our material came from overseas, most of that from China. While it seems like a big task for someone new, it wasn't done out of malice. Genuinely, everyone believed we were going to get a guy in China for the Chinese supplies. Then I'd be left for the handful of others. It seemed fair. But we never got that guy for China, and I was left with all overseas suppliers. Another important thing is that just in this project, the company had decided to change the workflow for overseas suppliers. This is because due to COVID, the price of shipping containers had exploded. To explain it as simply as possible, previously, the suppliers were responsible for filling our containers and bringing them to the harbor. We were responsible for picking them up from the harbor and bringing them to us. However, due to demands and many other things, sometimes we just needed 2 or 3 pallets of parts where a dozen or more could fit inside a container. So we were shipping a lot of air. The new workflow would have the suppliers bring the parts to an external warehouse, one in the US, one in China. Then we would load them into containers to get the containers as full as possible, and then bring them to the harbor and then into our plant. This way, we needed to rent far fewer containers. This complicated things because it erased the direct contact from us to the suppliers, and there was no official method how we were going to keep in contact with suppliers, tell them how many parts we need, how to package them, if there were any changes requested, etc. During that time, I was left mostly alone to deal with it, and I set up a system with Excel. It was mostly manual, rather simple, but it worked well. It worked so well that one of the suits even chatted with me about it for a bit since he wanted to make it a standard in future projects. And also, this is very important, I was the only person who actually knew all our overseas suppliers and their contacts. Some of you might be able to tell where this story is going already. So during that entire time, nobody had actually bothered to ask me to explain to them how my system worked and where I kept track of all the supplier contacts. All of this data was hidden on like slide 800 of some Excel file I had saved in a folder titled Part Pictures, which was otherwise filled with pictures of parts. Now, moving forward, as COVID began dying down, the department for whatever reason decided they don't need me anymore. I had theories, but nothing certain, so I will just leave it at that. I pretty much saw precisely the same thing go down as I had seen with that one guy who had left shortly after I started. All the bullying. I thought to myself at first that if I pull through and keep doing a good job, and I believe I did a good job, they would eventually cool down, but they didn't. After 2 months of that, I said F it, and decided to just sit out and endure until the Christmas bonus we get every year, and then hand in my notice. And also, I just delayed teaching anyone how my system worked until I was gone. And that is pretty much how it happened. Off topic, for my own future employment, I actually lucked out. One of the local suppliers I was managing had a really chill guy as a managing director. I gave him a call, explained I was about to be unemployed, asked if they needed staff. He then called me into an interview. We talked about anime for an hour, while his HR lady looked confused about what an Attack on Titan was, and he told me I can come in the moment I'm done with my then current job. Back on topic, a month into working at my new job, I got a call from my old job, the department manager. To his credit, he was always a reasonable guy. He told me in plain words that they have no idea where the F to even start with the Chinese suppliers. He then offered me my old job back with a very respectable pay increase. I explained that I already had a new job. 2 days later, I got another call where the same manager offered me many times my monthly salary just to come in for 1 week and instruct my old team in how my process functioned, introduce them to all the contacts, etc. I told him I refused because of the way I had been treated by them when I worked there. He said that he understood and wished me luck at my new job and hung up. The reason I'm writing this story now, this week I randomly got in touch with some of the people in the transport department from my old job. They mentioned that in the now 10 months since I left, the logistics department racked up 8-figure losses due to wrong deliveries, over and under deliveries, outdated parts, some suppliers canceling their contracts, and new suppliers needing to be sourced, etc. And all the blame for that fell on my old team. My new job is fine. It's not the best job, but I get to travel a lot and get nice bonuses for it. My boss isn't around much since he married. I do sometimes regret not taking that offer for a week as an instructor. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed the read. Jumping down in the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Beryl Dama. It says, I love these posts where the bigwigs who have no idea how the day-to-day is done randomly decide to remove the one guy who knows what's going on. Then they're shocked that things go badly. It happened at my old job. They dissolved my department because we had annoying rules about brand standards, only for them to realize that not following the brand standards earned them tons of fines. Idiots. Well, OP, it seems to me like you might have missed out on an opportunity to make a lot of money in a very short period of time. Because when they're making you offers to come in and do the work for them, and they're offering you many times your regular monthly salary just for a week of work, you know they're already screwed. But what they're offering you is on the low end of what they're able to offer you. I'm willing to bet you could have gotten them to almost double their offer just to go in for that 1 week to get the company unscrewed. This story comes to us from Tots to Hots. When your racket with the local cops bites you in the butt internationally. This happened a few years ago when I was serving overseas with the US military. The location I was at was in a poorer area. There's a fair number of panhandlers, a lot of petty crime, and just people doing stupid crap. Well, one racket that goes on in this area, and apparently in other areas of the country too, is the local cops incentivize reporting vehicles without date inspection stickers. Apparently, they give these people access to the inspection database if they think the sticker is fake or stolen, which actually does happen. If you drive a motorcycle, one of the things they tell you when you in-process is to keep the sticker in your wallet and not on the vehicle, or else it'll just get peeled off. Anyway, what these people will do if they find a car with an out-of-date sticker, or if they run the plates and find it's out of date, they will jimmy the door open, steal every single thing out of the car, and leave a note that they've taken it to the police station. The idea is that you show up at the police station to get your stuff, and they force you to pay the fine for an overdue sticker, and then give you a deadline for inspection, or else you'll get another fine. Well, I came out to my car one morning and lo and behold, there was a note on my seat saying that all my stuff was at the local police station because my inspection sticker was fake, and I had to go get it. Not only am I late for work, my kid is also going to be late for school because there's no bus, and I have to drive her every morning on my way. Also, my inspection sticker is not out of date, so I have no idea what's going on. Now, here's the thing that was extremely problematic. I had put my passport and my wife and kids in the glove box because I was taking them to the base to get some paperwork done, as well as grab some paperwork for my wife to apply for a new passport because hers was expired. I'm very forgetful, so I put them in the night before and made sure the car was locked. Yeah, dumb mistake. Anyway, I get to the station, ask them what the heck was going on, and then when I have them look at the inspection documents that the guy had taken, which clearly stated the car had been inspected and was current, they apologized and told me that they would give me my things back, and I had to wait there for a second. I asked to file a police report for theft, but they looked at me like I had 3 heads and told me nothing was stolen even though somebody broke into my car and took my things. This is where a light bulb went off in my head, and this might fall into the unethical category. The guy had taken official US passports, which might be a problem, but probably nothing would come of it since they were turned right into the police. However, I asked him where my wife's passport was. They told me that whatever is there is there. I said I needed a police report because I needed to contact the US Embassy about a stolen passport, and the fact that this police station would know exactly who the person was that stole it because they had dropped off my things that morning. I have never seen someone's attitude change as quickly as that cop's attitude changed. He tried to talk me out of filing a police report, but I was pretty insistent, so I went ahead with the police report. And then I did contact the embassy and reported the passport stolen and gave them all the information of the police station, and when I got the police report, I emailed it to them as well. Wound up getting a free passport out of it for my trouble. The embassy told me they were going to handle it, and from what I heard, the person who broke into my car actually got arrested and fined, and was looking at additional charges because he stole foreign documents. Really would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when one of the local cops rolled into wherever he was at the time and told him to come with them. I don't feel bad at all. Hopefully dude learned his lesson and I did not have any further issues until I PCS'd home. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Tranquil Twilight 2750. It says, hopefully that saved a few other people the inconvenience of having their stuff stolen out of their own car legally. OP responded to this one and said, honestly, they probably just stopped doing it to Americans and keep doing it to the locals, which at least is something, I guess, but still crappy. Alright, let's be honest here, we all know they continued to do this afterwards. There's no way they were going to get rid of that cash cow of a business that they had going. So they lost one of the people that was breaking into cars for them? Oh well, that happens. I'm sure they had a whole bunch more people that were willing and ready to do it because of the cash they were going to make from it. OP, it sucks that you had this done to you, but your reporting it will do absolutely nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you shouldn't report it, I'm just saying that in some places in the world, it really doesn't matter. This story comes to us from Crazy Mastiff. Today I effed up by being a butthole on the internet and causing a stranger to get divorced. I'm cross-posting this from Today I effed up. I'm really not a mean person, and genuinely felt terrible for destroying a marriage, but the lovely users thought I should post here, though I didn't mean for the revenge to go to this level by any means. I don't even know if I meant for revenge at all, but here we are. I, 42 female, effed up big time. 2 weeks ago on a random Thursday morning, at like 1 AM, someone started shooting off fireworks in my neighborhood. I've been having bouts of insomnia and was finally able to get to sleep, and I had to get to wake up at 4 AM for a meeting 2 hours away that I had to be at for 8 AM. I was pissed, and so were my dogs. I love fireworks, but I think there's a time and a place. Thursday morning at 1 a.m. is not it. I posted to the neighborhood Facebook group a few hours later during a coffee break about people that set off fireworks at 1 a.m. midweek. After I make the long drive home, I check my Facebook. Some guy comments that I can't sleep because I'm a fat pig. Now, I'm chubby, but not sloppy fat. Plus, I just lost the equivalent of a fully grown male wombat or 54 North American gray squirrels. So I feel effing awesome about myself. This is where I may have really effed up. I respond to the guy who was maybe mid to late 30s, very early 40s, about the same age group as me. I write in a comment beneath his, "Listen, guy's name, I'm sorry I had to end things, but I just didn't have the same feelings. What you're saying now is just harmful and mean. Please stop sending me messages, and commenting on my FB posts is just a pathetic way to contact me. I told you a dozen times already. We are done. It's over." The following day, I had to get to the airport for an out-of-country vacation that had me getting up early and leaving early as heck. So I don't check my Facebook during all the craziness. Also, because I'm only on it sparingly, I don't live on my phone. And when I am, I'm usually on Reddit or TikTok versus Facebook. I could not check my Facebook even if I wanted. I was on a cruise, not paying $25 a day for internet, and the country we visited didn't really have the greatest Wi-Fi. Besides, I was having a blast leaving the chaos of the world behind. I signed on Monday night and F. Apparently, people took this seriously and told his wife. She was freaking out on me, pleading for information, sending me messages. Her and his friends were DMing me. He was DMing me. It was bad. The last message was the guy saying, "I'm a total C because I refused to tell the truth." And I just destroyed his life. I immediately messaged both him and his wife explaining what happened. I sent pics of me on vacation, even timestamped. Apparently, he is a serial cheater, and when I exposed our affair, another woman exposed her affair with the husband to the wife because the affair partner was jealous that he had yet another side chick. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, because not only of the multiple affairs, but because he humiliated her with how public it was, especially it being a neighborhood group. So there's my accidental pro-revenge. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Pluvies Like Boobies. It says, "Nah, he was going to get divorced eventually. Better sooner than later." Another user down below called Splinton said, "That is hilarious. You didn't even blow up his life. He was living it with a stick of dynamite in his hand, and yours just happened to be the passing spark." Well, that's exactly how it goes. Cheaters are eventually going to get figured out. And if this guy was a serial cheater, like he'd done this more than one time, why the heck was this person still with him? It was only a matter of time before it blew up in his face. And you know what? It's all his own fault. OP, I wouldn't call you to blame here. It's the cheating butthole.